Another thing that's happening in our schools is that this has been systemically. Remember I said it coincides with the war on drugs back in 1982. So this has been long coming.
Yes.
This is a whole part of the system to increase the prison system. So they've got to recruit from somewhere. And if you look at the numbers in the current prison system, 80% of the prisoners are school dropouts.
Wow.
So if they're on the track to getting in trouble or dropping out of school for low academic performance, or it could be for truancy, there again is the track into it. But let's look and see what is happening. Probably maybe 10 years ago, our school districts had security guards, or the administrators and the coaches would walk the hallways and make sure everybody was where they were supposed to be. Well, today, our school district security departments have changed to police officers. And the police officers have the full rights of the Houston Police Department, the Harris County, the state police, the state troopers. So they have the authority to search, to arrest, and our kids are becoming immune to it because they see arrests happening in schools, from middle school and high school especially. It is very, very rampant. Many of our kids, their civil liberties are violated because an officer can come up to them and say, spread it, I need to search you. And without a parent there, even on the ticketing, it seems to me that maybe our administrators need to look at, why don't we go back and be able to work and talk to the parent to be able to say, what can we come up with? I don't want to send your child, my child, before a judge. I want to teach this behavior as if I'm teaching any other concept or any other skill. So added to that is having the police departments running our schools. Principals don't deal with discipline as much as they used to because they relegate that to the police departments.
Now, Shatera, I'm looking at that all that's been. I'm hearing all that's been said to me. How help our parents, help our communities. Tell us what we can do, because there's got to be something that we can do. We are very involved at our church. Our pastor is a member of the Ministers Against Crime, and I know that at the end of the school year, they do go into various schools, you know, to make sure things are done right. And I'm really proud. I happen to have a pastor that really stays in the schools. I mean, he's there all the time, and he's very interested in what's happening in the schools, especially in our area, in the Sunnyside area. But we're talking to those that may not know all of this now. You know, I'm happy because we've got somebody that's going into our schools, you know, and finding out things and trying to help things. But what can you tell the parents in the communities? You know, how can we help them? Okay, since this is a crisis.
Ms. King, thank you for having us. The best thing that we can do as parents is the right thing. The absolute worst thing we can do is nothing. Mm-hmm. As parents, it is our responsibility to God to rear our children, to teach them to love themselves, mm-hmm. to teach them to respect themselves, to respect authority. Mm-hmm. And when we do that, we are absolutely setting a foundation for our mm-hmm. children to go into the schools, into the classrooms, and to be productive. If we set that foundation at home, then we're sending our students ready to learn. Mm-hmm. We're also sending our students encouraging our students to think before they act. Okay, if a lot of trouble could be erased or avoided mm-hmm. if our students were thinking before they were acting. Our parents really, really, really have to have access to our rights as well as our children's rights. And what I mean by that is we have to be there to protect our children. Mm-hmm. If we're protecting our children by asking questions of the authorities, of the teachers, mm-hmm. of our legal system. We have some of our neighbors are a part of the legal system. Ask questions so that we can be better informed. The more information we have, the more protection we can provide for our own children. Now, I also do believe that parents have to get organized. Starting grassroots movements, making others aware, like we're here doing today, of the crisis. Many parents don't know that there is a crisis.
Exactly.
And if we get organized and come together, then our voice will be louder and we can alert more people. We have to alert more people, more parents. Lastly, parents need to team up with the school administrators. You know, like Ms. Cartman, I'm a former teacher, but I'm also a parent. I'm a parent first. Ms. Cartman is a former administrator. Ms. Cartman, how can we partner together so that our students, our children, can avoid being a participant in this crisis?
I'm so glad you asked me that question, because as a principal, not all principals feel this way, but I felt that all the children in the school were my children. And I wanted to treat them as they were my children. And I think that we can start sitting around the table, and we need to go back to establishing those positive relationships. I'm not saying that the parents are all right, or the teachers are wrong, or administrators are wrong. I'm saying we have a serious crisis that we as adults, we're responsible for protecting our children. We need to sit down at the table together and say, what is my role as administrator? It used to be this triangle. Here's the school, here's the students, here's the parents, and we're all working together for the common cause. And our community and our churches and pastors were involved in this. Let's sit to see what we could do to come out with. Now, that's going to assume that parents, number one, are the first teacher. They are responsible for teaching good behavior, good character at home. And when the children come to school, they should be ready to learn. But we know children are going to be children. They're going to slip up. And when they slip up, we're to teach them and correct them. And if we need to get their parents involved, we do that. If we need to get their ministers from their church, if they have one, involved. But we work together as a team. I really honestly believe, parents, this is so serious. We need to have a moratorium and ask our administrators not to write tickets anymore. Ask our police department officers not to write tickets anymore. Let's find some solutions that are positive to work together. When you asked me that, I thought about the competencies as a principal from the state of Texas, and one is safety. You know, as a principal, I'm to provide a safe environment for my children, safe for everyone to feel that they can get their education and learning. But let's go back to the positive discipline. Let's catch our kids doing something good instead of doing something bad. And let's work together to make sure that our classrooms are interactive and interesting and challenging and related to real life activities, so that our kids are actively engaged, that they don't have time to get off task. Now, there's some routine things that they have to do that's part of life. But if we're working, and if I'm thinking, I'm going to treat this child as if I treat my own Michael and my own Tiki, then we're going to be able to come together with a solution. I've even had some administrators, when I talk about the ticketing, and did they know that when they write a ticket, and if the parents don't pay that ticket, and they said, well, my parents can't afford to pay that ticket. And I said, well, do you know what happens after that? 50% of the administrators that I talked to said they did not know that at 17 the child is responsible and a warrant is issued for their arrest. I even had one principal that started crying because they don't know what is behind the big picture. Many times we as administrators are so busy doing what we need to do, we don't know where they go once they leave our school, if they go into an alternative placement program, which the district and the state says that we have to provide. So anything before getting them in that criminal justice system, because once they're in there, as you mentioned, Ms. King, they try to go to a really good school or apply for college, or better yet, they try to go out and get a job. And when they do that background check, that security check, that misdemeanor C is going to come up. And so we're locking our kids out of the school system, and we're locking them out of being viable, productive citizens.
Yes.
And that's what we want.
What I'm hearing, and I'm taking all of this in, though I don't have any children, but parents have a great responsibility here. If you tell me that this book is passed out at the beginning of the year, parents need to take the time to really look at this book and read what's in there. You're sending your child off to school. You say you want to send them to a safe environment. You want to send them to learn. Well, then send them to learn. The parents need to learn too, because now, I can see parents sitting down with this book and going, if you do this, you know, this and this is going to happen. They need to be informed. And I think a lot of times we don't read. Pastor teases us all the time at church that we don't like to sit down and read anything. You know, we want people to tell us everything. But when it comes to your children and where it can affect your child, I mean, we need to take the time to read. And if the information is out there, we're excited about this because we want to follow through with this, and we want to keep going with this. You know, maybe we can do some workshops at our activity center over at the Marcia Keys Activity Center. Well, we can invite the parents out, you know, and hear what you have to say. I wish we could have posted you brought a poster with you that we could have shown them that here on the set, but we'll get an opportunity to show it to some of our parents on the road, on how our babies can get off track and how we can help them get back on track. So this is just good information. We're getting close here, and I want you all each one of you all to speak directly to the parents out there. Let them know what they have to do, and if they need more information concerning this, they can call the number on the screen, which is 713-731-7050, and that is our office, our activity center, and we can point them in the right directions to get to you all. There could be some people out there that might want to get on this be advocates too, and you know, and help you all get this message out. So we're going to start with you, Shatera. I want you to talk to the parents, let them know. What is it that you want them to know that they need to do?
Parents, if you're already involved in your children's lives, you've made the most important step to protecting them. But we as advocates, we are available to speak with your PTA, with your church, if you're watching and you're not a part of Pastor Nash's congregation. But we need help getting the word out. We need help getting all of our children protected, not just mine, not just Ms. Cartman's, not just Ms. Schumann's children, but all of our children, because it truly does take a village to raise a child.
And I'd like to close by just reiterating, parents, let's work together with our school administrators and our teachers. We all have the same purpose. We want our kids to be productive citizens. But if we do find that our children slip up and make a mistake, and they are entering into this criminal justice system, take it seriously. Make sure that you get access to legal counsel. And we do have some solutions for that, that if you call us, we'll give you that information. And just be an advocate for your child. Don't be afraid. You may not know everything, but if you fight for your child, we're going to respect that as administrators and teachers and work with you.
Sure.
Thank you. I do believe that the school districts and the administrators do have an awareness of what's going on and really do try to work with parents and community, but the parents and community have to be involved. They have to show the interest and concern. Firstly, we want to make people aware, and then we challenge the parents to empower themselves, challenge the policies, challenge the laws, and become a part of the movement to save the kids. Because if we don't save these kids, if we do not advocate for our children, there's no one out there advocating for our children. We need to look out for them. And we cannot have this whole segment of children go from one broken system to another and then think we're going to produce functional men and women.
Well, we want to thank each one of you ladies for being on with us today. You've come with a lot of information that I'm sure if when they see this show, they will want to ask questions about what's going on. There may be a parent out there that's got a child that's wrapped up in this process, and they may want to get more information concerning that. But we thank you so much for being here with us. This has been a good show, a lot of information, and we're going to work hard. We're going to work hard to advocate with you to help our children, because if we're to save them, we're all going to have to come together. We want to thank our pastor is not with us here today. He's sitting out in the audience today. We want to thank him for being here with us today. And again, if you want more information, all you need to do is call 713-731-7050. And again, I thank you all for being here with us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.